Hi. So I'm recording a little beginning to this because we are re-releasing an episode, which is something we haven't done in a while. And I don't just do that for no reason. If I do something like that, it's because, one, I feel like that episode could use a little more listening to, and I think it's a good one. And also, it's an old one. It was definitely when we were still like in the first 15 episodes, I'd say, of this podcast, that we now have 65 episodes, which is crazy. And it's on the band This Mortal Coil. And the reason I got this all stirred up in me again was that I just watched this documentary called What You Could Not Visualize. And it's on this band called Rema Rema. And if you're a big 4AD fan, which you probably are if you're listening to this podcast, because I am, and I talk about it all the time, it just came out, I think, in 2022, and I hadn't heard about it. And a friend of the podcast let me know about it, and I got on it and watched it, and it was great. And the great thing about the documentary is not only does it talk about a band I really liked, that pretty much at the beginning of the documentary, Iva What's Russel is all over the place, which is great. Never being recorded, of course, but just like phone interviews. But that's enough for me. He said that it was one of the greatest post-punk bands ever, but that was over before it even began. So we were one of the early bands that were signed to 4AD, and it was just an EP. I think it's called Wheel of Roses. And it only had, I think, 4 tracks maybe. But it was just a great piece of music that was very influential. And if you get a chance to watch the documentary, go see it. I think it's still showing at different film festivals or different screenings in different cities all over the place. I'm going to include a link to an article about it that will have a trailer and more information. And please, go see it. But the thing I loved about that documentary is there's not really any documentaries about 4AD. There is one on YouTube that's really not that great. And it's like kind of it's really not amazing that I've seen. And it's really been re-recorded like 4 times, so like it just is all hazy and you can barely see it. And I've watched it a million times, but this was great because it really, even though it's talking about the band Rema Rema, it can't help but talk about 4AD as a label and how it started and that whole time period. And someone in the documentary mentions this, but I just feel like that particular time period, 1980, there was a lot going on, and a lot of really amazing, interesting things happening. And so there was just an explosion of creativity and people not just coming out of punk, obviously post-punk, and doing things that were not expected, and I think it's a great time of music. And also I love that they talk about a song. The other reason we're having this episode, which I'm going to wrap it up, Ryan's looking at me because I'm already going on too long, is that they talk about Fond Affections, which is a song I just love that This Mortal Coil covers. And so without further ado, why don't you give this one a listen? And the funny thing is when I re-listen to this episode, I now talk about like every single song. Back then, I was covering like 3 albums by This Mortal Coil, and I think I only played 8 songs or something. Like I had more restraint. I don't anymore. But please enjoy this episode. Give it a listen. It's definitely one of my favorites, and I think it's a lot of fun.
Podcast is speeding. Like what I'm hearing right there. Mm-hmm. That's some poppy glistening goodness right there. Goodness gracious. Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
How are you?
Fantastic.
Just fantastic. That's it, huh?
Just a fantastic.
I can tell you're just bursting over there.
No.
You're ready though.
I am ready.
You're super ready.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everyone to another episode of I Already Told You That.
I have tried several times.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe this one was like a try?
No. You know it, but you've resisted, but now you can't.
Oh. Huh. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's new? Anything new over there with you?
First, we should talk about what this is, and then I'll tell you that.
What is this?
We always say
podcast?
this is a podcast about music, y'all.
Oh, that's
If
right.
this is your first time listening, this is a podcast about music.
It sure is.
Every week, I bring a new artist or band to my husband. Apparently, he told me he doesn't like it when you refer to bands as artists last night. But let me finish this explanation, and then you can say
Wait, remember, you're not supposed to say new because it's not new to the world.
No, new to you.
New to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are not new artists.
Yeah.
These are from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. They're bands that I thought that he had either like heard, back in their day, or heard when he heard it in our home because it's been playing
20 plus years.
Yeah, that we've been together. So but then I found out he didn't. So, or he does know them. He just forgets the name of the band, or he just maybe wasn't invested really in listening to it very deeply. So now every week he does a new home, and I bring him.
No.
I bring him until he hears that song. When we start, we use a different song each time because it's a different band.
Different song.
And so then we go through their catalog and we talk about them, and we play a little bit of their music, and we're a little bit silly, and we try to get it where it stays in his head, and hopefully yours. And then I make a mix that goes with it.
That's right.
That's going to be on YouTube Music or Spotify Music under I Already Told You That. And you can listen along too. Yeah, that's kind of what happens. That's the gist of it. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say it's my re-education plan. It's my individualized music education plan.
Which is interesting because Brian is a teacher in real life.
I understand the multimodal tools that it requires
You
to
do.
learn for my learning style.
And you use them with your students, but maybe not yourself. So there you go. But at least you know. It's working. It's working.
It is. I need multiple times. This week, I sent a little message to my wife, and my daughter was like, "Oh, haha! This movie looks really funny. I think we should watch it. It's right up our alley. It's called Role Models," and she immediately wrote me back. Was like, "Yeah, we watched that like 20 years ago when it came out in 2008." I'm like, "Oh, but it looks good."
It had LARPing in it. Of course, we watched it. It's not amazing, but it was fun.
Yeah.
That's what it was supposed to be.
Big fan of the comedian David Wayne. If you ever check out his website, he's got a little section in there that says, "What if they sucked?"
Oh, it's really funny.
And he takes...
We should link it to our thing today.
We will link it to our thing. It's very good. He takes... Well, I'll just let you listen to it.
No, you should say what it is because they're going to be a little confused. You got to tell them why. Just basically, he'll take a band. Like, for instance, you sent a whole bunch to our son.
Yes.
And one of them, I looked at it, and one of them was The Police. And the title is, "What If the Police Sucked?" And then you click it, and you watch it, and I think they're doing Every Little Thing is Magic in that one, I think.
No, it's the one where he's playing He's playing the upright.
Or it's You'll Be Wrapped on My Finger. I can't remember which one. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's Everything She Does is Magic.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway... He makes it in such a way where he's like auto-tune. He's doing something to Sting's tuning. And also he messes with the timing of it. So the instruments aren't coming when you think they're going to come in. And it's just, you're like, oh my God, that's a cacophony of really bad tones. And it's hysterical because there's no time in which Sting has ever had that happen to him.
And I don't know why it's funny. Like every time I
really
expect
funny.
it to not be funny, I'm just like, oh, whatever. This is dumb. And then the second it goes wrong, because you've heard these songs so many times, the second it goes wrong, it's just, I don't know, it's just right.
Well, especially because it seems like sometimes it takes them a minute. Like the AC/DC one, I was like, what? There's not, I mean, they just sound like this. And then finally it was like, oh, okay. I mean, I feel bad because for them it was a little harder for me to
so
tell.
good.
But yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway.
So check that out.
It's
We'll
fun.
link that out there. Okay, so we got a band.
No, we'll get into that in a minute. I'm going to ask you, Brian.
Are you going to ask me something?
Also, this is weird. We have to say, I am trying to see my husband from across the room, but I also need my notes and like the iPad that I'm playing music off of, and it's as if I have my own little tower, and like
You're
I can
behind
just,
a wall.
I know,
of
and I wear
notes.
glasses as I've stated, and I'm like looking over. It's like you're like it's like every '80s movie where I'm like
You're just over the horizon there.
just peeking at you. Does it look weird? Because you can't even see my mouth, right? It's just like my eyes.
I can't see your mouth.
I don't even have one.
It's like we're permanently in a library and you're peeking over the top of a book. If you would lower that stand a little bit, it wouldn't be so...
I know, maybe I should. No,
Dish
I
darn.
won't.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's kind of fun.
Keep it ergonomically correct. So you're sitting up very nicely.
Yes,
This is good for
straight.
your back.
It's really good for it.
Yes.
Yeah, It's always fun putting this together.
Good.
I enjoy it. And it's better when I don't procrastinate. I didn't procrastinate this week.
Good.
And it's also funny to me that there'll be times when I'm working on something, like last week when I worked on My Bloody Valentine, which, by the way, if you haven't listened to that episode, you should listen to it. I think it's a really good one. And
Yeah,
sometimes
they're a cool band.
Sometimes it's hit or miss. I don't know how it is for you all because you're listening to it. But for me, sometimes I'm really hard on myself about things. And so sometimes I'll be like, oh, I don't know. I don't feel like I fully expressed what that was. Like, and I really get worked up about like, not like, I want it to be like as clear as it is in my head, which is not clear. But like, I just want it to be felt the way I feel it. And
Sure.
And I can't promise that always. So sometimes it's hard. But I felt like with the last one, I was pretty happy with that.
Is this the disclaimer part?
No,
of the
this
show?
is not a disclaimer. But I was just going to say that I was happy about doing this one.
Okay.
And I felt like, what I was going to say,
Yeah.
thank you for getting me back on
That's
track.
okay.
Oh my gosh. All over the place. Is that it's funny to me that I'll be working on something and then it just so happens. It's always happening. It's probably because it's always 1991 or in the 90s or like, anyway. It's always the 30-year anniversary of something.
Yeah.
That when last time, like, Loveless had just come out not that long ago. And so it just keeps happening. Like, and this week, the band we're doing, one of the records that we're going to talk about, it's the 30th anniversary of that, And I'm like, I mean, it's crazy that there's music I was listening to, that is older than my children, as far as like how long I've been listening to it, or like people that I like have worked with lives, like they haven't been alive that long.
Well, and it's even crazier to think that when we were kids and 30 years ago was the 50s and it felt like 800 years ago.
And I never thought about it that way. Yeah,
No.
I wouldn't even that didn't even seem, that seemed like a space, like alien time ago or
Right.
something. It was like dinosaurs were then. It was really confusing. I still have a hard time with timelines. How are you on timelines?
Well, given the fact that we're just now realizing that 1991 was 30 years ago.
I mean, I realize it. It just doesn't feel like it.
Well,
I mean,
I'm just saying-
I technically know, obviously.
There's a reason why all of these things are in their 30th anniversary. One, 1991 was your favorite year of all time.
No, it wasn't.
And it's... What are you talking about?
It wasn't my favorite year of all time.
Music-wise.
It was a good year. It was one of the ones I really enjoyed.
Yes, you go on about it.
Yeah.
And it's 2021.
Shut up.
So if you do math, that's 30 years.
I don't ever do math.
So it makes sense.
I have a
that
liberal
these
arts
things-
degree, Brian. I don't have to do math.
What did you do? You did the math for the medicine cabinet?
I did
something
math.
Like that?
No, I did. It's funny. It was math for liberal arts students, I think, or art majors. I think is what it was.
Yeah.
It was conceptual math. And they had
That's right.
conceptual physics. It was great.
It's great.
Isn't physics just conceptual anyway?
It kind of is, but
So-
no, I think there's a lot of math out there.
Anyway,
There's math everywhere,
So-
Melissa. Music is math.
did you recognize that at all?
Yes. I recognized that it was music and that I liked it and that I probably have heard it before.
So this band,
Yes.
I kind of tricked you. I was being a trickster.
You're always a trickster.
No, well, I didn't
Never
wanna,
make it easy.
I like this band very much.
Good.
But that song isn't going to give you really an idea of everything we're going to hear.
No.
'Cause I'd like to just give, it's kind of like, you just give a little bit of a leg, just a little bit of leg,
Oh. Okay.
so that you don't totally know. But I don't think it really would have mattered what song I picked, really. But I was worried about it.
Right.
This week we're going to do you have any guesses? Wait, before I tell you.
Jefferson Airplane. Is that not right?
No, it's not.
Oh, dang it.
It's This Mortal Coil.
Oh,
I know.
Now that is tricky, Melissa.
And you can't leave the room. It is, yeah. I've got you. Sorry.
Because isn't This Mortal Coil not really a band?
It isn't, but it is. So
Okay.
I'll explain. This Mortal Coil
Yes.
is they kind of express it more as like, they don't, on 4AD's page, it's like, I think they said something like, it's a musical collaboration,
Okay.
not a collective. But
Not a
I think of it
collective.
as a collective.
Or a movement.
But it's led by two people.
Yes.
The founder of 4D Records,
Mm-hmm.
Ivo Watts Russell,
Okay.
and John Fryer. And they both, and it's, Ivo picked songs that were really special to him,
Mm-hmm.
and they did covers of them. But there's also some original material as well, and a lot of artists from 4AD
Mm-hmm.
are on these records.
Okay.
And it was a huge deal to me and my best friend Jeremy when we were younger, and it still is a big deal to me. And it's one of those things that like I've always wanted to kind of get across to you, and I've tried a little bit. And this time we're going to try a little more.
Well, these two characters pop up a lot.
Ivo
in
does.
This very
John Fryer,
podcast.
not as much. I mean, he does show up, but
John Fryer was in, where did that name came from last time?
I don't think you're going to. Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to pull it, am I?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's come up that much.
Yeah, okay.
Ivo has, but yeah.
Yeah. So why do you like this so much? Why do you like This Mortal Coil?
Well, let's just talk about it a little bit.
Okay, let's talk about it.
So if we're going to get into This Mortal Coil, I feel like I have to say a little bit about Mr. Ivo. So I learned a little bit more about him. You can't find a lot of information about Ivo. He's kind of an enigma.
Interesting.
Kind of a secret. And I have to say I think when you're growing up, there's certain things you pick to be kind of like obsessed about and like talk with your friends about.
Sure.
This was mine, with my friend Jeremy. 4AD in general was. And I think it's come across. It's funny. A friend of ours made a review of our podcast on iTunes, and it said that they thought that they now had a PhD in 4AD. And we're going to go a little further into the weeds on that one, but not too far because
this is Ivo 204.
Yeah, yes. So I didn't realize. I always wondered how 4AD started. I kind of knew. I knew how it started, but I didn't totally know. And they don't tell you too much, which is basically Ivo started working at Beggar's Banquet in 1977 when it was starting out, the record label.
Not the Rolling Stones.
No.
He didn't make that record.
No.
Oh, okay.
And then 4AD became an offshoot of Beggar's Banquet.
Okay.
Eventually.
What was he doing there? Do you know? Just a guy working.
Yeah, I mean, I'm imagining what he did for 4AD.
Find bands, bring them in.
Something.
Produce
like I said,
records.
They don't say much.
But he plays. He's a musician.
He is not as much of a musician as he is somebody who has... he does play, but he's not known for that. He's more known for his taste.
Okay. Putting people in the room.
Putting people together, putting people in the room, recognizing things. And also so anyway, he makes this label 4AD. Yeah. And the first record release, do you remember it, Brian? It's been covered on our thing. I'm going to see. I'm going to check in your PhD status. Do you remember the first recording?
I didn't know there was going to be a test.
I know.
First 4AD
I'm losing
recording is...
Besides like 3 people.
This Mortal Coil?
No, it was Bauhaus in a flat field.
Oh, right.
And it came out in 1980.
Okay.
So
in a flat field.
Yes. So anyway, they started putting records out. And at some point, there were bands like Modern English was also on 4AD.
Cool.
That's who you just heard singing was the singer from Modern English.
Like it.
But the song that you heard at the very beginning, it's a cover of Wire.
Oh, nice.
Because as I said, anyway, I'm digressing. I'm going to be confusing.
Okay.
I don't want to be
You got
confusing.
it. It's
I'm going
your
to try this
podcast,
to be
Melissa.
really clear.
You do you.
Instead of getting too in the weeds, let me make it really simple for everybody. This Mortal Coil is Ivo, it's Russel, and John Fryer. They both play music and they do some keyboarding and programming going on. But also what happens is they bring in a lot of artists from 4AD to do these covers. And the songs that they choose are songs that were really important to Ivo and became very important to me because one of the reasons this was such a huge deal for me is it opened the world to me to a whole bunch of bands I did not know about.
Right.
Because they were alternative bands from the 60s and 70s that I was unaware of.
Yeah.
In my teenage brain. One of them being Big Star.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal.
Big deal.
Big deal. So anyway, let's listen to some music so we can kind of understand what we're getting to. This first one, Brian, I will say you will know. And I've said it in the past, but this one you really will. So the first release came before they had their first full-length record.
Okay.
They had an EP called 16 Days Gathering Dust.
Okay.
And this song was on it. I'm going to just go a little bit forward on it. It's called Song to the Siren.
Ah.
It's a Tim Buckley song.
Okay.
And it's a little popular.
Yeah.
Are you ready for it?
I think so.
This is a gentle ease-in. First release of This Mortal Coil.
Fantastic.
On the floating shipless oceans, I did all my best to smile till your singing eyes and fingers drew me laughing to your
Freaking beautiful.
Yes.
Oh
Who's
my
that singing,
gosh.
Brian?
That's got to be like a Christy or a Angie or...
You are kidding again. You're joking. I know
I'm
you're
not
joking.
joking.
It's Elizabeth Fraser.
Okay,
Brian,
Elizabeth Fraser.
and
That's
the
who I meant to
Cocteau
say.
Twins,
That's who I meant to
who
say.
were on the label for AD.
Okay.
So that was the first song they released. But then I want to play you one more song, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. This is now going to be the first record that came out in 1984.
Okay.
It's called It'll End in Tears. I did not hear when it came out, of course.
Okay.
But, I just want to say a little bit about getting these records. I can't remember exactly when I came upon This Mortal Coil.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is that my friend and I, Germany, we kept hearing the band's name from like people who were kind of cool and interesting.
Yeah.
It was like this weird, like it was like mystical kind of thing. Like,
Sure.
and we really felt like we were on some kind of, I felt like we were on some kind of conquest to discover
Wow.
what this was.
Okay.
So it was like an Annie, it was like the Orphan Annie decoder ring, like we hear little bits of information, little intel. People are like, so you like the Cocteau Twins? We're like, yes, I do like the Cocteau Twins. Have you heard of Clan of Xymox? Yes, I am familiar with Clan of Xymox. But do you know about This Mortal Coil? No, I don't. Huh? What's This Mortal Coil? Oh, well, it's a band by Ivo. What? Ivo has a band? And like you said, anyway, you were just losing your mind. But these things were not like super, like in my area in Florida where I grew up.
Yes.
Not tremendously popular. So it was really just, you'd come across a few waifs who'd mentioned This Mortal Coil to you, and you'd just be like, there's something secret out there, and I want to know what it is. So anyway, eventually we started trying to purchase these things, and we would have to order them from that small little record store I mentioned to you.
Okay.
And we were buying them on cassette, which is so silly to me. So we'd pay like for an import to come because it wasn't just like on the record shelf, like,
right.
because this is years after it came out,
Right.
Although there are records that were coming out. There was one record that came out, in our time period.
And it was in the store. You could see it.
Not by then. Anyway,
Right.
Let's listen to it in Florida. I'm sure other places like New York, sure.
Yeah.
Not where I was. So I want to play another song. This one is the lead single before this record, which is called It'll End in Tears.
Okay.
And the song is called Kangaroo. And you should also know this one because it's by Big Star.
Cool.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Wait. Sorry.
Oh, false start.
False start. No, I
Jinx.
know what it is. We've been together a little bit. Ready? Kangaroo.
Yeah. Do it.
I saw you. You had on blue jeans. Your eyes couldn't hide anything. I saw you
So,
Just keeps getting better.
really?
That's so good.
I'm so glad you like it.
That bass is insane.
Isn't it beautiful? The thing that was so nice and refreshing to us when we first heard this, because we sat down, okay, like we got the Anna decoder ring, right? We're in the room. We went through a lot of
The
trouble to
waifs
get the
have told
cassette.
you where
We
the
finally
waifs-
sit down. We sit down. We put this on,
Down.
and we're like, it was just so magical because it wasn't like anything else. It wasn't trying, like it was alternative music, but it wasn't pretentious. I mean, people would think it's pretentious. I don't think it is. I don't think it's pretentious at all
No,
because
it's artistic.
it's beautiful.
Yes.
It's someone just making art and just being like, it's okay, like just to make it pretty. And there's going to be a lot of people you're going to hear and on these records that you're not expecting to be doing what they're doing. And that was like, he gave them basically a space, an artistic space to do things that weren't what people expected from them.
Yeah, that's cool. What was that Big Star?
No, that is a Big Star song. Yes.
Right.
Alex
But who's
Chilton wrote it.
performing
That's Cindy Sharp from Cindy Talk.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And this is how, basically, there's like, I think we're going to play another Big Star song right after that because they also do Holocaust.
Okay.
Another song. These are mostly songs from Third Sister's Lover.
Okay.
And that's the record I went out and bought. I think we bought that record like,
Very next.
that was one
As
of the,
soon as you could.
that was one of the first original bands from here that I,
Now, did you do the whole like Columbia House trickery where you like get the 1 cent? Because that's
I
honestly
think I did get big.
where
No, because it wasn't released yet. But I had to get some. They had just re-released Big Star's recordings through Rykodisc at the time.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Because I think I got a Big Star record through the Columbia household. Like, buy one, get 18
Really?
CDs for a
I'm
penny.
amazed that you got it because they were out of print.
Well, it was reissues.
Yeah,
And
Rygo disc one.
I think so, along with like the Flying Burrito Brothers and stuff. Because that's kind of my entry into it, was more from the country side of things. You know, so I knew about Big Star. And Big Star performed in, not to go on a Big Star tangent.
No, you can do it.
But there is a famous show where Big Star reformed in, I know I'm going to get the year wrong, 1993, in Columbia, Missouri, at the University of Missouri, where I went to school. And it was people at the college radio station that got them to come back together. They hadn't played together.
Which is so crazy,
in
great.
years.
I'm so jealous that you got to do that.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't.
It happened before I was there. I was only heard of the legend. But they have since re-released
That's
that
a little
record.
anticlimactic.
Yeah, right? No. So talk about like those secrets. Like people talk about, oh, Big Star. Big Star was here. That was amazing. Big Star. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know who Big Star is. And I felt like a total idioto because I didn't know who they were. And this was this massive event that had been put on and put them on the map, Columbia. Anyway,
That's really
Big
cool.
Star is awesome.
They are. Let's hear another cover from, it's not a cover, but another interpretation of the Big Star song. This song is called Holocaust.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Eyes are almost dead, can't get out of bed, and you can't sleep. You're sitting down to dress, and you're
So you remember, this is going to be a really silly thing, and you're going to laugh at me.
Okay.
Do you remember when we were about to record this podcast, Brian, just a few minutes ago, and I was singing a song, and I was like, oops, I don't want to do that because that's a giveaway. And you were like, I don't know what that song is anyway. The song I was singing was a Buzzcock song.
Okay.
And you're like, how does this have anything to do with This Mortal Coil?
Oh, that one. La la.
Yeah, I was singing I Can't Touch It. This is Howard Devoto of the Buzzcocks singing.
Interesting.
You can't tell, can you? Let's listen to a little bit more of it.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
you look in your eye. Say you realize everybody goes, leaving those who fall behind. Everybody goes as far as they can. They don't just.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's really, I listened to this at the time. I didn't realize he was singing on that because it just sounds so different than what I would expect him to be doing.
Yeah, right.
That it wasn't even in my brain, to think that he would do that because it's just not how you would expect a Buzzcocks lead singer to be singing.
No, you
So
wouldn't
It's beautiful.
at all. It is.
And I'm into
Although
it.
I'll say I probably prefer the original when it
Yeah.
comes to that one.
Oh, okay.
That
like-
one.
He's like,
Fuck it.
You're doing though.
Who did it better?
No, we're not. This is not. This is about Brian. You're already going off tangent.
What?
This is not allowed.
Okay.
Listen to me. I'm going to get into Melissa Cure middle school. Upset with you. You're supposed to give it a real list, and then we'll talk about it at the end. This is not like. It's also.
It was
it's
nice. I liked
obviously. I don't think he was trying or they were trying to make it
it. You don't
better.
have to defend it.
I think that they were doing an interpretation of it.
No.
Oh my god. So let's listen to another one off It'll End in Tears. This one is called Fond Affections.
Okay.
Ready?
No.
Affections are never said, they're only sung in song. Never was naive enough to know
And what are you going to say?
I was just going to say it's really beautiful. I don't know why they've recorded it in like a tennis court.
They did not record it in a tennis
It
court.
sounds like somebody's like
I like
serving
that.
tennis balls
Oh
in
my
the background.
This is why no one whispered to you. You should listen to This Mortal Coil. They were like, not that one.
I like it. It's really beautiful.
Let's
It's
listen.
just
I want to hear a
little-
little bit more of it. So this one we're going to go back up on. Fond Affections. And Cindy Sharp is singing from City Talk again. Ready?
Okay.
This part I really love.
All right.
Okay, ready. Let's
Yeah.
go.
no light at the end of it all. Let's all sit down and cry. There's no light at the beginning. Let's all sit down and cry.
Oh man, I can tell you right now. I wrote it down again, but I don't need to write it down. The line in that song, I'm sure you heard it, and I was making sure you did. 'Cause as if you don't listen to this podcast, you might not know that my husband does not pay attention to lyrics. But there's no light at the end of it all. Let's all sit down and cry.
Oh boy.
And then she also sings, there's no light at the beginning. Let's all sit down.
Oh goodness.
I just think that like my young, like very, like not loving teenageness and was like, that's some darkness right there
Speaking to you.
that I fully embrace and feel in a huge way. Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. It's I didn't hear those words because
You
after
didn't.
I made the
How
joke.
did you not hear them?
Because after I made the joke about someone hitting tennis balls in the background, that's all I could concentrate on. And I'm wearing headphones, and it was like someone was shooting the ball into my left ear, and it was going out of my right ear.
It's one of the things I love about this record, actually, and I'm hoping you're hearing because you are wearing
No,
headphones.
I
There's a
like it.
lot of great stuff going on.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice.
But so I also want to play for you. A lot of the time, not as much on this record as it will be on the next two. There's three This Mortal Coil records.
Okay.
But on this first one, there's a little bit of it, but it happens, like I said, happens more on the next two. And the next two are double albums.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
yeah. This next song is going to be Iva Watts Russell, Robin Guthrie, and Simon Raymond. Simon Raymond was the bass player that ended up joining the Cocteau Twins.
Okay.
This is how they met,
Ah.
was This Mortal Coil.
Okay.
So I have a song called The Last Day that's instrumental that I would like you to hear. So you kind of get an idea what some of the instrumental stuff is like. And this is stuff that was written by them, so this would be original This Mortal Coil stuff. Although this one sounds a lot like early Cocteau Twins. But, ready? The Last Ray.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I like it. It's kind of like future space music in a way.
So yeah, between songs, a lot of the time you'll hear lots of little instrumental things pulling it together. He really thought very much. They both did, I'm sure. They thought so much about how the songs would all connect. So I feel really bad because if they ever heard this, they would be very irritated because we're only playing 30 seconds, as we've said before. And they think a lot about what they're thinking about is album sides, like A versus B, and like how those things connect.
It's almost like they're making like the ultimate mixtape. Instead
Yeah.
of just like putting bands on there, like, no, we're going to do their music.
Yeah.
And we're going to change it and make it because we like
I just
it.
thought it was cool because I'm not a huge fan of people covering things, to be honest. But I really loved this because I felt like they took it in, like they consumed it. And, like it made it a whole thing. Like
Yeah.
not just one song. They made everything affected by the same kind of music and like the same kind of purpose. So it all connected in this way where it normally wouldn't.
Right.
They wouldn't make sense together. None of these artists would make sense together either.
Right.
But they do. So I think that's a kind of an interesting
Putting
thing.
their twist on it.
Yeah, so we have just two more songs from this record.
Okay.
But I do want to play them because I have a lot. As I always say, I have a lot to play. And today I mean it because there's two other records that are double albums. So
Goodness gracious.
We're going to get to
We
it.
gotta get
This is
shaken here.
Another Day. It's the other song that, so Song of the Siren is also on this album that had been on the EP previous. But this is another song that Elizabeth Fraser sings. It's a Roy Harper song. And I actually prefer it. I think it's beautiful. It's called Another Day. Ready?
Okay, yeah.
The kettle's on. Listen, let's go. Another day. She offers me to love and tea. on a flower tree. She's at the door. She wants to stop.
It's nice.
And we're gonna-
Chamber music there.
And we're going to go right back up on it, right? Let's go back
Yeah.
up on another day.
Okay.
She didn't used to say, I loved you a long time ago in the yard, when the winds of forget-me-nots blow. And I just couldn't let myself go, not knowing what I knew. The rest to know, how I wish that I had, 'cause I'm free.
You like
Lovely.
that one?
I do like that one. That's
There's
very
a
nice.
there's a lyric in that song. I'm trying to remember. It's like, I've been feeling so sad that I'd never had one of your children.
Wow.
I was like, whoa. It's really deep and sweet. Deep and sweet. We're going to play one last song off this. And it's the song that we started off with, but now you can hear it knowing what you know.
Yes.
This is a Wire cover. It's called Not Me. And it's sung by Robbie Gray from Modern English. He's the
Oh,
lead singer.
okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Ready? Let's listen to it.
Yeah.
Maybe as you say, all admits that you don't sound convinced.
Super cool.
We're going to go back up on that because
Yeah.
you can't tell yet. Let's do it right now.
All right.
Maybe as well that I didn't see the point. You didn't touch me. You didn't touch me. You didn't touch me. You didn't touch me.
I guess nobody touched him.
You're so silly. So that's It'll End in Tears. And I failed to also mention the artwork, as always, with 4AD releases, is really beautiful.
Okay.
Usually it's always featuring a woman, and it's black and white, and it's just all the fonts were insane. Vaughn Oliver from Envelope 23 did all the design, and
Same guy that did the
Pixies,
Pixies
yeah,
and-
all the great stuff.
yeah.
Red House Painters, all the stuff you've seen that's really beautiful covers.
Yeah.
But these felt like also like it was like all the color that was in it would be like this weird like metallic, like for like where the words would be. Mm-hmm. The background to it would be this like awesome metallic colors, like of like brass and like champagne. It's hard to explain. I'll show you later, but it's really beautiful. I know, like I'm talking about the color to where the words were, but it was really a big deal. It was beautiful. So then
Now, how could you see it? You had these little tiny cassettes.
it was still there. It was very, very much there and beautiful.
Yes.
And it's hard for me not to play the last song on this album because
Just
I really
for the listening audience out there, Melissa's over there arranging this like pile of slips of paper. and-
Well, it's also funny. I taught art for a little while, and when I was doing it, I was teaching kids origami because I didn't have any art supplies. And when you don't have art supplies, you're like, well, I guess we're learning origami. So, but I cut like, I feel guilty saying this, but like thousands of pieces of paper. And I hate to waste things, but I had to make a perfect square to do origami.
Yeah,
This is a
so
long
you got to
thing.
cut it 8.5 to a 8 by 8.
And
right?
I kept all the scrap from that because I felt so guilty to waste it.
Yes.
And I have had notes now on that same paper for years.
It's going on 7 years now, Melissa, I think.
Yeah.
7 or 8 years.
And I still have more. And I'm going to be really sad when it's gone.
We're just
to be
going to do
honest.
it all over again. Cut your little strips.
But I was going to say is please listen to the mix on this one because I always say that, but there's so many things I love that are on here that I'm not going to play. So please know that they're there, but I can't play them.
Right.
And really, it's better to listen to the whole records, even beyond just listening to the mix. I think that would be even a better thing for you to do. But if you want to kind of see if it's your cup of tea, listen to the mix and then go listen to a whole record.
Absolutely.
But the last song on this record in particular is so beautiful, but it's instrumental, and I just don't think it'll work. And instrumental things work on our show, but I just don't want to play it right now. But do listen to
no instrumentals.
it. No, I'm going to play some. So Then we get to the second record. It's called Filigree Shadow, and it came out in '86. And I think I remember in the Cocteau Twins episode, but I'm going to connect things here. We were talking about Victorialand.
Okay.
And how that was recorded by Elizabeth Fraser and Robin Guthrie without Simon Raymond, because he was doing this.
Giving him the hand?
No, he was doing this. He was working on Filigree Shadow.
Oh, he was doing...
Oh my God.
He turned to
He was playing bass and guitar. And
fuck you guys.
No.
I'm going over here.
Rob always says that's crazy. No, he went to go work on this. So anyway, that's what was happening. Filigree in the Shadow introduced me to a lot of different people.
Okay.
Some of them being Emmylou Harris,
Okay.
Gene Clark,
Nice.
who we're a big fan of in this house,
That's right.
Tim Buckley again, and we're going to get into some of that stuff.
No big star in this one?
I think there is actually still. I mean, there's like 3 covers from Big Star in the last one. What do you want it every single time?
Yeah. I
Oh my
mean, come
gosh.
on.
We'll see. So let's play a little something off this.
All right.
It's called Meniscus.
Meniscus.
Meniscus. Ready?
Yes.
Ready for it.
Yep.
So I'm sure that's Simon Raymond playing, I'm assuming. But that is a Diff Jews song. And it's a...
Diff Jews?
Yeah. DIFJUZ. And it's an instrumental post-punk band.
That's super cool, man.
Yeah. That's a cover of that they're doing. Really cool.
There's
so
some
this record...
serious stuff going on in there, because like wearing the headphones that
Yeah?
was going... Ding, ding, it was bouncing from like one to the
Yes.
other, that guitar.
This is where for me in particular and my friend, we learned a lot of things from this. We were studying it because we then went to record music and we were like, oh, we have
We're
to do
doing that.
We're going to go back and forth. So this record has 25 tracks.
Wow.
And 13 are instrumental. And it was the first double album 4AD ever released.
Okay.
So there you go.
That's a lot
You
of
need to know
songs.
these things.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool. But I have a weird little note.
What
trying
are you
to
doing?
I'm trying to
You
read it.
reading your
Oh, I
notes
got it.
over
I got it. I just couldn't tell what that was saying, and I was like, "What in the world is that?" Okay, got it. We're gonna play another
Should have got
song.
another slip of paper just for that note.
No, I just couldn't see the beginning of it. This song is called Tarantula.
Okay.
Are you ready to hear it?
Of course.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm living, but I'm feeling numb. Can see it in my stare. I wear a mask so falsely now, and I don't know who I am. This
Beautiful.
Do you really
Goodness
think that?
gracious.
Are you
No,
okay?
no,
Okay.
I totally think
We're gonna
that.
go back up in a minute, but that is Dominic Appleton. He was in a band called Breathless.
Okay.
And the song that they're doing is by a band that was on, I'm pretty sure it was on 480. It was called Colorbox.
Okay.
And it sounds, it's similar. I love both versions, but I want you to hear the Colorbox a little bit later to hear it.
Okay.
So you can hear how different it is. But let's listen a little bit more because my girl's about to sing. There's certain people that make a lot of reoccurring appearances on This Mortal Coil. Dominic's all over this record, but also Deidre, I know I want to say her last name wrong. It's Rutkowski.
Okay.
Rutkowski. And she's about to get down right now. So let's listen to some Deidre. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
This void the wells inside of me is eroding me away. I've noticed in other eyes time's closing in.
But when the thunder breaks, it breaks for you and me. Tarantula.
Wow, that was a of Deirdre.
Yeah, I know. He does this effect with her voice. He's going to do it a lot more on the next record, but this like very watery. It's like she's singing in water kind of thing.
Chorusy.
Yeah. I'm going to push back a little. So the next song, Brian, you're going to know. Again, I know it's like, I know you're like,
Wait a
no,
second.
I
You're
don't believe
Telling
it.
me I'm going to know something here.
I'm going to say you're going to know it.
All right.
Let's give it a test, though. I'm actually not going to say the name of it just to see if you recognize it.
You
first.
expect me to know the name of it?
No, I shouldn't do that. That's
Oh my
mean. That's not
gosh.
nice. Okay, fine. It's called Strength of Strings. Do you remember that?
No.
See if you
No way.
you might recognize the song. Let's try. Okay.
Okay.
Let's try.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In my life, the pain and losing brings me word that I'm not the strength of fiery rain and rubies, cooling sun. Now I see.
That's our aforementioned former bird.
Yes.
I do know
and
that
I
one,
have
Melissa.
I have that next. Want to hear a little bit of that?
Yeah, let's hear that
So we
one.
can kind of compare.
Who did it better?
No,
Who
it's
did it
not.
better?
It's not like that. Would you stop doing that? I'm gonna come over there and get super aggressive with you.
You're gonna hurt me?
I don't want to. So this is a Gene Clark song, is what Brian's
Gene
telling
Clark.
you. And he was in the Byrds, formerly. And the record's called No Other, and it's awesome. You should definitely get
Yeah,
it. So let's
it
listen to
is
it, a little bit of it.
tip-top.
Right now, here it is, the original.
In my life, the piano sings, brings me words that are not the strength of strings. Fiery rain and ruby.
That's so good, man.
Yeah, and we were
so good.
We were talking about this the other day, but I'm just gonna say it again. The Byrds were also a big deal for me when I was young because, like, I don't know, I just made this conscious decision at some point. I was like, I was trying to get into like bands that did harmony, but it really wasn't my thing. You know, like I never liked
The
I've never-
Beatles?
no, I mean I like the Beatles, of course, but like I didn't really like for instance like
You mean
Peter,
like-
Paul, and Mary.
right, or the,
I don't like Crosby, Stills, Nash. I mean, I'm sorry, I just don't like it. I just don't like it.
I was waiting for you to.
I left
trash
Mr.
that.
Young out. I left Mr. Young out. I mean, it's just not my thing. I do love, though, the bands that I can handle, though. America, fucking love it.
Yeah.
And I love the Byrds. And I love Gene Clark, especially, very, very much. Although he's not singing harmony at that point. He's on his own.
He is on his own, but
And
he's got that chorus.
Once
going on
again,
right
I'm
there.
going to give him the Syd Barret title of the Byrds. Go check him out. He's awesome.
He's
Eccentric
really
and
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
And
Kind of
he's-
tragic though, a little bit.
no,
his
he's
situation.
just awesome. He's just awesome.
No, but I mean, didn't he? He kind of died alone. And
I didn't
sort of-
remember that.
I thought he had, like, anyway. There's a documentary. You can check it all out. I thought he had like a drinking thing where he kind of drank himself to death.
I don't
Like
remember
he had a
this.
recording career.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think you should be speaking about it if you're not sure.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
sure about
Excuse
it?
me.
No, I'm saying, are you sure?
I remember something about watching a documentary and that he had a recording career and that he struggled to get his records out because he had a bit of a drinking problem.
I mean, I can kind of see
But
that.
then, don't we all?
And I mean, no. Anyway, Brian,
That's what you call a joke there, Melissa, is
I
what I was
know.
trying to do for you.
I know.
Okay, let's get back to the Mortal Coil.
This Mortal Coil, which we didn't also talk about. Where do you think the name comes from, Brian?
I was going to ask you that, Melissa.
So-
I'm going to say it's from some sort of philosophical poetry.
Well, it is in Hamlet.
That
but
old thing.
It isn't. That's not where it comes from. It comes from a band called Spirits. It's in one of their lyrics.
Cool.
Yeah, and it might be the name of this episode. So the full quote.
Right,
from
because
it,
there's
so.
the whole like shuffle off this Mortal Coil
Yes,
situation.
Yes, that's Hamlet.
That's from Hamlet. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna get back into it.
Okay.
This song is "I Want to Live," and let's listen to it. Deidre's about to rock it again.
Okay.
Wait, I gotta find it first.
Get it?
Wait a minute.
Where?
Where-
Oh,
I
did
got
you
it. I
get it
got
out
it.
of
I got it.
order?
I got it. I got it. I got it.
You do
Here we go,
have
here
it.
we go.
It's playing. Oh.
Lifetime memories of you. My lusty sentiments, they made life seem true. I'm rather selfish, and I mean to be unkind. You can't imagine what it does to.
Oh, we're gonna go back up on that.
Yeah?
This is a 3-parter right here, Brian.
Oh my gosh.
3 parts. Right, let's go.
But where am I? I want to die. I want to live. I want to
Oh,
Almost went the wrong way on that one.
you did.
I went up and then I went
So
down.
what are you thinking of that so far?
I thought that was really nice.
I think we're gonna have to do it. This is gonna be a 3-parter.
A 3-parter.
Yeah, because this song it gets
Part
me a
3
little
of
bit.
3.
I'm gonna have to get a little bit forward.
Are
though.
you going to get there?
I'm gonna get there.
All
I'm
right,
getting
then.
there.
Tell
I'm
me
getting
when you're
there.
ready.
It's getting close. And I keep saying Deidre. I think it's Deidre. I'm not positive.
Deidre?
Right, let's go.
Deidre.
Right now.
got a way of understanding me. And I just call it one of your mysteries. But you know you've got to stay close to me. Ooh, close to me.
I know that the Rachels were well after all of this, but I wonder, it seems like they would have been somewhat influenced because there's strings all over this stuff.
Yeah, and I think John Fryer has a lot to do with the strings as well on that. But let's listen to a little bit of something I want to play you right after that. It's the original. Ready?
Oh,
This is Gary Ogan and Bill Lamb. I Want to Live.
Oh, okay.
It's funny because on This Mortal Coil, it's I Want to Live. And the name of the song when they do it is I Want to Live. Ready?
Okay.
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
I've gathered all my lifetime memories of you. My lusty sentiments that made life seem true. I'm rather selfish and I mean to be unkind. And you can't imagine what it does to me inside. But where am I? I want to die.
That's a fantastic song.
Yeah, and it also
really good.
it made me feel much closer to Mr. Watts because Mr. Russell. Because these were all songs that were highly personal to him, that he's covering and that he loves. And I was like, this dude can't do wrong. What is up? Like, how does he know my brain? How does he know, like, to sign the bands that I love? And to, like when you see what he would actually do, you're like, oh. And then there was a box set of This Mortal Coil that came out in 1993. This is just off topic. And before that time, I hadn't really heard a lot of the original recordings. Because
Right.
it was all the records, all 3 records, and then one disc that's just originals. And it's not all of them, but it's quite a bit of them. And
The original versions
Yeah.
of the songs that
and
they
you've
covered.
heard me play that disc so
Totally.
many times.
Yes.
But probably didn't realize that's what I was listening to, but that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, that's like I said, it gave me such an insight into all these bands that I was like, cool. Like, I'm just so glad to hear it, and it gave me a lot of new things.
Well, it's like, this is all American music, a lot of it that he's covering, right? I mean, not all of it,
Not
but
all
some
of
of it. But some of it is very much in the kind of American
Laurel Cannon kind of,
country,
like
Laurel Cannon,
like
that
definitely the
kinda-
Burrito Brothers beginnings, like all
Right.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right.
And it turned me on to a whole bunch of like that, like
Right.
I was like, I didn't know about that because I wasn't listening to that, so it definitely, I thought it was really cool. And was into it. So we're going to play one last song from this.
Okay.
Speaking of songs that I think you'll know, this one is called Drugs,
Okay.
and it's by the Talking Heads originally.
Oh, nice.
And it was the first way I ever heard this because it's a lot weirder of a Talking Heads song that you didn't hear as much back in the day. But now, of course, we have. Ready? Let's do it.
And all I see is little dots. Some are smeared and some are spots. Feels like never less at night.
Who is that doing that?
Alison Limerick.
I don't know who that is.
It's okay. She's a singer. I mean, she's not like that. Yeah, she's a singer. It's David Byrne and Brian Eno actually is in the writing credits. So I think that makes a lot of sense
right.
why it's like it.
Old
the way it
Eno.
is. Eno sneaking in. Anyway, sneaky Eno. That's what I always say. And then I have my first heart of the situation. Not that I didn't love all those things. I did.
But this one goes above and
This
beyond.
is the one. Like if you listen to any of this Mortal Coil record from start to finish, you can't go wrong with 1991's Blood. Yeah,
Just blood.
it's called Blood.
30 years ago.
30 years ago this week, which is
Nice.
the reason this is such a great record. First of all, it's a double record. It's such a great record. And the artwork on this one was so startling to me. It's just this woman's face, just close up. She had some black eyeliner on. Her eyes were really big. And she's beautiful. And it was just like really striking. And all the songs that we're going to get back. And some Big Star Again comes on this record.
Nice.
It has a mood, a serious mood. I don't know what kind of mood. No, I'm just kidding. I do know what kind of mood. I just don't want to. I put this one was amazeballs. That's one of my notes. That's really not really what anyone said about it when it came out.
It's okay. You can say that about
Yeah,
it.
that's what I said. My friend of mine. I failed to mention this in the Red House Painters episode, but I won't forget this time. A friend of ours worked at a sign shop, and back then, and we were really obsessed with this record. And he made me a customized sticker of this woman's face, and it was reflective. So it was like just her, like to the side, like tilted, like looking at you. It didn't say anything or anything. And then he also made me a Red House Painters, like the way that they make the font on the back of my. So it's like a 4AD mobile, basically. And people would always be like, "You paint houses?" And I'd be like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like they really thought, I mean, come on. It was a vintage car with a sticker that said that. It didn't make any dang sense.
That was their opening line, Melissa.
It wasn't a good one. But anyway, so let's listen to this first song. It's called Mr. Somewhere to give you an idea
Okay.
of the mood. Let's start it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Day comes up, sicker than a cat. Something's wrong, that is bad. Mr. Somewhere, missing somewhere, never did figure just how.
Carolyn Crawley. She was in a band called Shelley and Orphan, and I love her voice.
She's got a nice voice.
It's beautiful.
And
you're
it's
back to-
not the like chorusy situation we were getting before with Deirdre. That was a little more like.
Oh, she's Deirdre.
clean.
Deirdre's on this, and she's gonna bring that.
She's gonna bring the
She's
underwater
gonna bring
sound.
a full force of water at you. Like you just get ready for it.
I'm ready.
Okay, so let's listen to a little bit more of Mr. Somewhere.
Sure.
You got to hear. I love how she sings so much, and I want you to hear a little bit more of it. Ready?
Okay. Yep.
Take the tide, any tide, any tide, like there isn't gonna be any tide. La hey yada, 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 la hey yada. A word like tomorrow when
Sounds like she's getting some of that like Irish kind of
Yeah.
twirly
Isn't
singing.
that beautiful? I know. I was like, because she's British, and because of that singing, I had to look it up. I was like, is she though? Because the way she's singing it. But no, she's British. But that is an Australian band called The Apartments.
Ah,
Yeah, which
I've
I think
heard
your
of them
friend,
before.
our friend Mr. Taylor is into.
Indeed,
Yes.
yes, I believe he is.
So yeah, that's the cover of that. But she was such a great singer. She died a few years ago, and I was very sad when she
too
did.
bad.
You'll hear some more from her though. We'll
Good.
get back to her.
All right,
But you notice also her voice is like almost no effects.
that's what I was.
But she
gonna-
also
that's
just
what I was
has that kind
saying.
of voice. She doesn't need that. You just let her
it's
be.
very clean.
Let her be. Let her do what she's doing. So let's listen to another one. This is gonna have Deidre back, and this is another Gene Clark song from
Excellent.
the same record, No Other. So it's called With Tomorrow.
Oh, it's a lovely one.
It was more like a dream than reality. I must have thought it was a dream while you were here with me. When you were near, I didn't think you would be.
Oh, we're gonna go back up on that one. You know,
It's
we
a good
gotta get
one.
with sorrow. Please, let's do it right now.
So with tomorrow, I will borrow another moment of joy and sorrow, and another dream, and another with tomorrow. So with the sun that
Wowzers!
Love that song. You
Yeah, I
like
do
it?
too. Oh, I like that song a lot.
Good.
Very
Do you like
much.
it by This Mortal Coil?
I have to listen to the whole thing, but
Okay,
yeah, it
okay,
was
good.
very beautiful.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You would have to like maybe be missing a heart. Are you missing a heart over there?
Yes,
Are
I
you
am.
missing one?
It's
so
gone.
much like the other record, they do have a lot of instrumental songs, and I did want to play one of those. So you get kind of because there was a lot connecting these songs.
Yeah.
And especially on the last record, on this, and so when there's a double record, you know how many records there are, right?
In a double record, there would be 2 records.
There is, but there's 4 sides.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
And he took extreme care for each side to make sense together.
Yeah.
So you don't really get that in the way I'm doing this. But as a whole record, it also really works. But you kind of feel that when you're doing it.
But
Didn't
you're
work so
listening
great
to it on
cassette.
double cassette.
I know. Don't.
So are they
don't hate on me.
combining one record on per side of a cassette, or were there 2 cassettes?
It was just one cassette, actually, because cassettes can be long form.
That's right, 120 minutes.
So don't worry about me. I was fine.
Okay,
Ready?
good.
So this is an instrumental one. It's called Loose Joints.
Yeah.
If I can find it. Here, I found it.
Whoa.
I know.
That comes out of left field.
I know it's all one song too. So what I'm saying is like there's a lot more to it if you listen to the record, and you should.
It's good stuff.
So Brian, once again, this is going to be. You seem like someone who probably already knows who This Mortal Coil is, really, because you know this next song because it was on Duets, and it's happening here, and it has 2 people that we've covered on our podcast singing. One, Tanya Donnelly from Throwing Muses,
Excellent.
and the other, Miss Deal Kim
Ah.
of the Pixies and the
That's right.
Breeders. It's called You and Your Sister, and it is a Big Star cover. Do you like all that?
I can't wait.
Okay, I'm gonna get it right now.
You say my love for you is not real, but you don't know how real it feels. All I want to do is to spend some time with you so I can hold you.
Good.
Yeah,
Pure, solid gold.
it's good stuff.
Yeah, that
Let's
gets
listen
the
to
heart.
it. Oh, this is a 3-parter, of course. This is You and Your Sister. If I didn't say. Ready? Let's do it again. she's also the perfect person to sing that song.
Yes.
This
Is
would be an instance of I think she might sing it better. Like in this particular instance.
She does a very good job for
Yes.
sure. Are we going back up?
We
on it,
are.
or
We
you-
are.
you
We're
getting-
gonna one last up because I
Okay.
got to hear them together. I got to hear
Oh,
Tanya
for
and Kim together.
sure.
We haven't even heard that yet. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
no,
Ready?
Let's do it.
Friends fail every day. I want to hear you say your love won't be leaving. Your eyes.
Deidre. She's in the background. in
Oh,
the
is
pool.
that her?
Yeah. yeah.
She's under the water, just like, whoa.
Hey, she's just she's got to insert herself somewhere.
He must have been very pleased with himself after that. I
do you
mean,
mean?
after recording that, I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
like, damn, nailed that one. That
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah, it was like that's what I'm saying. I think this record in particular, I think they really kind of knew what they wanted to do and they did it. You
Yeah,
know,
like,
it's
but the thing
clear.
is, like, being able to say, like, yeah, I want that person and that person. We're gonna bring them over here. We're gonna record
Yeah,
this.
to have the
we're
ear
gonna
to know
record
that.
this song.
like
Yeah,
and that
that's-
they're the ones that need to do it.
and it's gonna
those
be
two.
amazing.
I mean, really.
Yeah, it's
Good.
really
And I'm
good.
so glad he picked them in particular because I just love their voices together.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it works. So this next song, Brian, has
Uh-oh.
a heart next to it. It's the first song with a heart next to it for me.
Okay. On the Heart record.
On
with
the
a
heart
next
record.
to it.
Although, of course, you and your sister I love all this stuff. But this is a Peter Newton and Michael Brook cover.
Like Juice Newton?
Peter Newton was in Clan of Xymox that I mentioned earlier.
Clan of Sidewalks?
Xymox.
What did you say?
Clan of Xymox.
Oh,
They're a
okay.
band. They were on 4AD. I'll play some for you later. But anyway, they had a record that I was obsessed with for after this because I heard this cover of
Okay.
it. And it's weird because it's a 4AD release, right? But they do a cover of this, and I just love it so much.
Well, it's doing its job, right? It's hooking
And
you
I'm pretty
in
sure
so
they're
that
even
you'll...
performing on it. It's great. And I probably put this on so many compilations.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't even remember how many compilations I have put this song on. This is the This Mortal Coil song I always used on a comp.
Gotcha.
So it's called
So,
Several Times.
needless to
Several
say-
times I'm going to talk about it. Ready? Let's do it. I love it very much.
Several times I looked in your eyes. Several times I saw you wishing to stop this.
It's got a little Annie Lennox-ish
That's Deidre.
vibe. That's Deidre.
Yeah.
They took her out of the pool.
She's got a great voice.
She does.
So I'm into it.
So what do you like so much about that song?
We're going to go up on it and you'll see.
Okay.
But let's go up a little more than you can maybe see.
Nice.
Let's try.
Several times I looked in your eyes. Several times I saw you wishing to stop this.
So you asked me a question. I will answer your question. And
Okay.
if I didn't say, the record that I was talking about that the song came from is called Sleeps with the Fishes. And it came out in 1987. And
Okay.
it's Michael Brook and Peter Newton. That's what it's titled. That's the band because it's the two of them working together. Michael Brook was an atmospheric guitarist.
I was gonna
You
say
can't
there's
really-
a little like Vangelis feel in the
And
background.
on the
there.
record, it's much more, it's different than that.
Okay.
But so I liked it because it was ambient.
Yeah.
It was moody, and
Mm-hmm.
I liked that it broke through, and I like that sort
It
of
sounds
thing.
like you could do like a slow dance to that.
I did some slow dancing to that.
Yeah, cheek to cheek.
Yeah.
Not like that song, but you know.
Yeah, I like it very much. So Another Heart, the next one. Carolyn Crawley is going to come back.
Okay.
And she's going to sing us some Syd Barret. 'Cause
Oh.
I love some Syd Barret.
Sure.
The song is called Late Night. Ready?
All right. Yep.
When I woke up today and you weren't there to play, then I wanted to be with you. When you showed me your eyes, whispered love disguise, then I wanted to stay with you. Inside me I feel alone and
And we're going to go back up on that one too in a minute. What do you think of it so far? You're making noises.
It's nice. It's really sparse.
Yeah.
And I think somebody left the like air conditioner on or something. in the
That's a
background.
noise you really love,
It's like
if I remember correctly.
Or there's like a machine working.
Yeah. Aren't you a big fan of that noise?
I do like those kinds of noises. Yes.
Let's listen to a little bit more of Late Night. Right.
with you. Inside me I feel alone and I'm real, and the way you kiss will always be a very special thing to me, to me, to
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty great, I think. I'm going to talk about this next song, but I'm not going to play it. They do a cover, an Emmylou Harris cover of Till I Gain Control Again. It's on the mix. Wonderful. Should definitely listen to it. I just can't. There's so many songs that I started to try to get on this, and I was like, you need to calm down. That's just too much music. So I'm almost done. But I will say,
Settle down now.
I do want to play this next one. I think that was actually how I was going to start the episode, because it is a song I also very much love. It's by Big Star, again, from the same Big Star record. It's called I Am the Cosmos.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, let's listen to it.
Okay.
Every night I tell myself I am the cosmos. I am the wind that don't get you back again. Just when I was starting to feel okay, you're on the phone.
Nice. Is that Deirdre again?
Yeah, let's go up a little bit on that one.
Okay.
One more time.
Never wanna be alone. I hate to have to take you home. Wanted so much to say no, no.
Somebody got a Roland electronic drum kit for Christmas.
Yeah. Yes, I think so. So that one came out in 91, and I don't know if we bought it right when it came out, but not long after.
Yeah.
And like I said, there was a box set that came out in 93 of all the records, and it was one of the most expensive purchases I had ever made, because I think it was like $75. And for me, that was a
Goodness.
huge deal. And I think I'm pretty sure that box set is dedicated to Mr. Warren DeFever of His Name Is Alive.
Get out.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Is that the one that's downstairs? It's all
Because if you
velvety?
notice, This Mortal Coil, like when, especially the first His Name Is Alive record, Livonia, it sounds similar because John Fryer and Iva Watts Russell mixed that record. Like
Yeah.
he sent them all these little tidbits, and they basically This Mortal Coiled it. Okay,
Right.
that's what they did.
They threw it in
And
the
it was
mixed mortal
perfect.
portal.
It was perfect for it.
Yeah.
You know, with Karen Oliver singing and everything, it was so perfect for it. So it makes a lot of sense. So I can see how they're both, people who think similarly. And yeah. Anyway, I
Like-minded.
didn't know this. I knew that Ivo had left 480, but I didn't know when, which is hard for me. I don't know if you know that. He's no longer
I
at the
did
helm.
not know that.
Okay, so I'm going to say this, but I'm not going to say too much about it because I don't know anything. I know in 94 he had a nervous breakdown of some
Okay.
kind, and he sold his half of 4AD, because 4AD wasn't just him. It's also another person. It's Peter Kent, and I'm sure it's probably from Beggar's Banquet or something. But everyone knows it as Ivo's label. He's the one that made the decisions about who's being signed, all of that. But so he sold his half to a person named Martin Mills. I don't know who that is, in 1999, and he moved to Santa Fe. He lives in the U.S.
Interesting.
Road trip this summer? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother Ivo.
Excuse me.
He's chilling.
Mr. Russell.
But if he ever wants to give me a call and talk about things, I'll talk to him. No, I have a great amount of love for this band. And I don't listen to it as much as I used to, but it definitely was... It was in the crawl space for sure.
No, I mean, you said you had a decoder ring. It's what led you down the path. Melissa.
And also, it was just one of those things like you'd meet other people and be like, you're in this Mortal Coil. Oh, like, and you would know about.
It was
stuff,
like a rite of passage.
Yeah, I mean, I also think it's good music, but
it's a good music for sure.
It's a good music,
Yeah.
but and I also think when people hear the name, they're like, what is that? And I kind of wanted to demystify that for some of you if you haven't heard of them. This is what This Mortal Coil is. It's really good music. Definitely listen to Blood start to finish because, like I said, you're not really getting the whole picture.
No.
And buy some music.
So is that it? Is that what you're telling me?
But I
right
want to
now?
know your feeling about it. You haven't really told me. You're trying to get away without saying how you feel about it. And don't talk about tennis balls.
No, I think earlier. So what dawned on me while listening to this, and when I think helps define it to me, is that it's these two dudes, right? That
Yeah, music. It's not just them. It's a whole collective. But yes.
well, I mean, they're bringing these people together. They're making these choices, and they're like, we really like these songs. And we not only like these songs, we're going to do interpretations of those songs with the resources that we have, money and recording studios and influence to get people together, and do exactly what it did, which is introduce it to other people who might not have thought about listening to these songs, Gene Clark and a bunch of other great stuff that you played. And they're all very beautiful renditions of those songs, adding strings and electronic stuff to it.
And there was tons of 4AD bands too. I was going to say, like Dyke and Dance is also featured on This Mortal Coil, and they were a big band for me, and I might someday be on this podcast. Very big, and I did want to play that, but I just didn't want to play it in a 30-second snippet. I couldn't do it. So yeah, that's how I was. I can't remember if I had learned about them through that. I'm pretty sure I already knew about them. I knew about them before that, but yeah.
And that's what's nice about it too, is listening to them is then listening to lots of music.
Yeah.
So you're getting exposed to a lot of things. Yeah. And as long as you know going into it, like, oh, these are covers of other songs, you
Not
can
all,
know
but
to go look
Yes.
for the other music, the originals.
But also, I want to say too, it wasn't the only thing he did. He also had a band called the Hope Blister. Ivo did later on, which was very much similar to This Mortal Coil. And they had 2 releases, one in 98 and one in 99. So if you're interested in more of that material, you can find more.
Yes. So as always, check out the mixes that are associated with this, either on YouTube Music or Spotify. And of course, if you like what you hear and you like collecting physical items,
yes, who doesn't?
Go to your local record shop and tell them you heard it on. I already told you that.
And they'll say, what the fuck is that? Also, remember, I said a few weeks ago that we were going to change our drop date. I don't know. We're going to do it someday, but I realized, like, it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. So it'll happen, but we don't know when.
We're just happy everyone's listening.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Thanks.
listeners.
And also, like and subscribe, please. It does help other people find it. We are finding new people, which is always interesting.
Tell
so
your
welcome.
friends. Tell your friends.
And spread the word.
Spread the word around.
To people who might want to listen to me talk about 4AD too long,
Get your PhD in 4HD right here.
I don't think I'm going to be.
I just said 4HD.
That would be interesting.
In
it's
the
like a
4-H.
combination of 4-H and 4AD.
That would be really amazing.
I mean, I would be into it. I love animals.
Learn how to like shoe a horse and listen to
and play
This
hammer
Mortal-
dulcimer. Yeah, it would be great.
That's a great. We should come up with that. That's a new summer camp idea. 4-H and 4AD.
No, I don't think it's happening. Anyway.
Well, that was fun, Melissa. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good stuff.
Good.
I'm glad because I know this has been super important to you, and it's been nice.
Meaning to do it.
Learning more about it.
Finally got to it.
Remembering is.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
That is fun. Okay. So thanks everybody for listening to, I already told you that, of course, listen to the mixes. If you like what you hear, go to your record shop and buy some stuff.
Yes.
So that's it, huh?
It is.
What are we going to go out on here?
We're going to go out on one of the more instrumental tracks from this record. It's kind of quiet, but I like it. It's called Nothing But Blood.
Nothing But Blood. Thanks for listening, everybody. See you next week.
To change your mind could have been enough to take my breath away. Should have been enough to change your mind. Could have been enough to take my breath away. Should have been enough to change your mind. And this is enough to take my breath away. Should have been enough to change your mind. Could have been enough to take my breath away. Should have been